Hi, this is Carol. Um, Today we're going to have a special guest. That's going to be Jo Muirhead. Now I know it's a little late for me to be doing a Facebook Live, but she's coming to us from Australia, so we had to adjust the time. And there she is. Bring her on camera. Off she goes. Okay. Hi.
We made it
Like
work!
that was easy peasy.
Oh, if you could see how I've jerry-rigged my phone right now. So if I crash to the ground, it's just the phone. It's not me. Thank
Oh,
you,
okay.
Carol.
Okay, well, I'll call the ambulance in Australia.
Yeah, which is 000, not 911.
Really? See, I've
Yeah.
already learned something I didn't know. And one of your cups, what does your cup say?
Today we're talking about fearlessness. Well, I am.
Ah, great.
Fearless Monday.
This is Jo Muirhead. I have listed a lot of information about her. To me, she is my business coach. She's my friend. I adore her. I adore you. I
Oh,
think you already know that. You've known that for a while. I got a little
yeah.
groupie, I guess. But
Thank you.
I've learned so much from you, and I've got so much more to learn. And I wanted people to get to know you the way I know you because you're authentic and real, and that's what we try to do.
Yes,
So
it is.
so
Whew.
welcome, Jo
Thank you,
Muirhead.
Carol. And
You're
thank you
welcome.
to all of the people who in the US who've stayed up for this. I know it's a little bit late by you, but that's got me thinking you're actually staying up really late to watch my This is Private Practice videos, which usually occur 90 minutes from now. So,
Really?
wow. Yeah.
Well, I don't stay
Yeah.
awake for those. I just happen to be awake, and then my phone says, "Joe's online. Might as well just watch." So
Oh,
one thing I
we've
wanted
got
to.
Bali. Well, hang on. I'm just going to say hello to Dua
Mhm,
from Bali because he's
mhm.
watching, and that's really cool because I really wish
Wow.
I was in Bali right now. It's cold. Sorry,
Never
Carol.
been. That's
Please forgive
okay. I can't even imagine being in Bali.
me.
Like
Bali's a
Bollywood?
no, Bali, Indonesia.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's what we talk about. We say it Bollywood because I guess they have like I don't know. They dance special.
Okay.
So what got you into coaching? Can I ask that?
Yeah, I, like most things that I have done well in my life, I seem to have fallen into it.
Mm,
So back in 2011, I had a couple of occupational therapists actually here
mm,
in Australia noticed that I had been doing something a little bit different, and I was creating these businesses based on, or creating a business for myself based on the way I love to do my work. Um, and it was unique because we're a much smaller population here, and watching somebody go and do the work that they love the way they wanted to do it, that was like, whoa, is that actually
mm.
possible? So I started off going, sure, I'll teach you. So it started off as a 6 week from zero to whatever you needed. It's usually around $2,000 a week. Income is what I discovered most people needed to generate. So in 6 weeks, we kind of took you from what are all the steps that you needed. And then I just let people go because I didn't realize there was any more to do. And then some of those people came back and said, actually, could you kind of work with me for the next 12 months? So I created a 12-month kind of group program, which was
Mm,
very time intensive, but it was fantastic. The results that we got in that were amazing.
mm,
Um, and yeah, so then I kind of just been looking at different models of service delivery. In 2015, I had an amazing opportunity, my first time in the US. So I got
mm,
exposed to the fabulous west coast of the
mhm,
USA, and a lot of the
mhm.
people there. My approach and my forthrightness was very well received. I think being an Australian helps a little bit because I can say things at times and people go, that's harsh, but it's so cute because of her accent.
That's so
uh,
cute.
and then I've just discovered I love this. I really believe, like with every part of me that if we're going to change healthcare in a Western nation, private practice is the way we're going to do it. That we just don't have unlimited health budgets. We've never had them. So trying to think that that's actually ever going to happen is ridiculous. So if we don't want to be the burnt out, chewed up, spat out health professionals that, you know, traditionally many of us have become, then we have to do something about that. So that's kind of why I keep going, because people ask me to, and I can see some movement happening. I see new graduates, newly licensed clinicians all over the Western world now coming out with this expectation that I will be valued, I will do good work, and if you're not going to take responsibility for your health, then please go away. So see, that's one of those harsh things that not a lot of other people could say.
You know, I was
how
thinking,
I got into coaching.
When you came to the USA, like it seems like, you know, we're big country, but our field is like, it's pretty small. Seems like, you know, there's like we all kind of sort of know each other if we're on the internet.
Yeah, I love that. That is, I've built some incredible relationships with people. I've had clients and connections in South Africa, in Edinburgh, in there we go.
You said that would happen.
Yeah, I did. Where else? Japan and Korea are starting to become quite big for me now. I guess that was because my son spent quite a bit of time in Japan and was sharing my stuff. And yeah, they've got some pretty unique challenges happening with healthcare and their aging population. So being able to talk into that's been quite helpful as well. But it's great. We've had this amazing opportunity of late where somebody in San Diego got in touch with me and said I need a therapist in Dallas for somebody who was in quite a significant traumatic place and was not going to reach out for help. And I was able to connect that person in Dallas with somebody that I knew who could help specifically. So it was just like this international community of mental health professionals. And that gave me goosebumps. I loved that moment. That's the power of the internet.
Yes, it makes it so small. I mean, I got to meet you, and you know, you're where? All I know is tomorrow. You're tomorrow, and I'm today, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I don't understand how that works.
Yeah, it does my head in too.
So that's your thing is like to help us to build our private practices, or is it about, you know, the human behind it? Like, what is your goal for us?
My goal is that we're doing the work we love, the way we love to do it, with the people we're best able to serve. So that actually means we need to know ourselves well enough first to know what that means. So most people, when they decide that they want to be in private practice, do it because my salaried employment is no good. I've got to do it different to this. I know I can add value. I know I can do it better. I wish I could do it better. So we go, I will go out and do it on my own. And then you realize how much support you were getting from your employer with marketing and IT and supervision and an unlimited stationery cupboard. And and that doesn't exist for you in private practice. So people get scared because the money is no longer there. The security of that income is no longer there. So then we go, I need to sell things that people will buy. So instead of going, what can I do? Who can I serve? How do I make this work for me? People go, I just need to sell myself to everybody.
Right.
And
that's risky.
Well, it is. And well, what it ends up doing is making us feel miserable because we end up working with clients we're not a good fit for, or we end up selling ourselves short, going, I'll take all the people for $50 an hour. And then they think that the only way they can compete is by lowering their price. I've had a clinician reach out to me recently who was charging $45 a session. And
what?
Yeah, master's degree, $45 a session, big city.
Wow.
And she was like, I that's the only way I can get people through the door. And I'm like, oh, please stop. Please, you're actually doing a disservice to the entire profession. She's a social worker. And once I said that to her, it kind of chimed in and she went, okay, that needs to stop. But so
that's like selling your house down the street. You know, you sell it for next to nothing, and the whole neighborhood now has to make their houses lower cost or something like that.
Yeah, but if you're trying to make a living, that because we've got loans we need to pay. Where most of us live is expensive. You know, we need enough money to live on and not just scrape by. We all want to own a home, have a nice car, take vacations, put our kids through school, have another vacation. In my case, have another vacation. But if we haven't actually stopped to think about how our profession, our information, our knowledge, our skills is going to help us get there, then we're doing ourselves, and I personally think we're doing our clients a disservice, but I can get onto that later. So we end up burning out. We work really hard. The work we do is hard. We're working with people when they're in their most vulnerable, they're most, you know, they're scared, and we get to help them put their lives back together. I don't know about you, Carol, but I explain to people what I do for work, and a lot of reaction is, I could never do that. You're amazing.
I know, right? And I'm like, I love it. I smile all day. I leave my office happy. I go to work happy, you know, knowing that I get to be a part of this.
Yes,
but I used to do that, what you're talking about. Like I would see 38 clients in a week. And now I see more like 15 to 20, which is a lot better. But I'm sure I show up completely different based on the fact that I'm not burned out.
Oh, I've got my own burnout story, and I'm pretty open about that. I now look back over, I've been doing this work since 1994, so I've been doing it a while. I kind of, oh my God, I wish I could go back and apologize to some of the people I met in other times in my career. And that's not because I went out of my way to harm anyone. Nobody's intentionally doing that. But I was so pressured to do more and wanted to help all the people, and had this internal belief that I had to help all the people with all the problems all of the time, regardless of their circumstances. But all that does is make us sick. So, you know, we can't walk around. If you're not processing the trauma that you're listening to, if you're not processing the horrible stories that you're listening to, I don't care how good your education was, we need to get that stuff out of our heads. We need people around us who are well enough to go, Jo, you're really cranky and irritable today. What's going on? That's a common one.
Well, it's just people that are honest, that give us good feedback, that aren't yes people. I don't like yes people. I want to hear the truth.
Yeah, and
that's what I like about you, by the way.
Thank you. I've actually been told that a few times. I'm starting to own it. I'm quite a truth teller, and sometimes that can come across as me being a bit harsh. It's never intended to be harsh. It's if I can help, I will let you know. If I can't, I'll also let you know.
But see, we're the same like that, right?
Yeah.
We are exactly the same like that. And so like we're such a good fit to work with you.
Are a good fit.
Yes. And that's one thing I want to talk about, is it's so important to have a good fit with a business coach. And, you know, I came to you, and I knew I was always going to come to you. And I think you said, you know, when is she going to come to me? You know, because we knew that we were like circling around, and then boom. And now I don't know what's going to happen, but I just feel like the floodgates are going to open. I mean, my new office is almost ready.
The fit piece is a really important piece. And I think it also speaks into the fact that over our careers, we'll have different people come into our worlds at different times. And they will help us achieve certain things, or give us information, or provide us with insights. And then that prepares us for the next person or the next part of the journey. And we need to be, I guess, self-aware enough to know that that's going to happen, but also secure enough to know. So I never want a coaching client to feel like they have to work with me. it's how I'm always, how can I add value? What else can I do to help? Is there anything else you need from me? And when I start hearing lots of no's, no, no, it's like, okay, are we coming to the end?
Mm-hmm.
It's important for me to know I'm making a contribution. That is the most, if I'm not making a contribution, then my values kind of get out of whack, and that doesn't end up feeling good for me.
It's
So
kind of the same
that's
like therapy, right? It's, you know, you need to have a good fit with a therapist. You need to have a good fit with a business coach. I did, you know, originally I worked with John Clark, and then it was time to work with you. And I don't know that we're going to ever separate, just like my house remodeling people. They kind of just moved into my life, and they're now my family because I have so much to do, and I need so much guidance, and I can't imagine not having you there to do that. And
so
at some point that will happen.
Yeah, it will. But the thing that you've brought to the coaching relationship is your desire to be coachable. And that's one of the things that I'm always assessing for. Sometimes I won't let people work with me until we've done a more thorough assessment. They may not know that that's what's going on. But I don't want to do it for anyone. That's not my model of coaching. I'm not a done for you service. I'm a done with you until you can do it yourself. And that just fits with me. That just helps me know that I'm doing it. It's the same way as I do my rehab consulting. So my rehab counseling work is never, here you go, here's the job of your dreams, go get It's all about who do you need to become to do the job that you want to do. It's exactly the same principle. And funnily enough, whenever I'm looking at giving money to charities or projects, it's always, are they looking to withdraw? So I've got a strong relationship with a project in Cambodia, and that was built around the fact that they're withdrawing. They're handing it over to the local people, and the Cambodian people are going to manage the project. So it's like, make ourselves redundant is kind of that message.
Well, what I hear you saying is you don't want to enable us to not, you know, be a part of what we need to do. Otherwise, it's almost like you're, I think of it like you hitting a hammer on somebody's legs and just kind of doing too much for. If you do too much for, then we don't step up and own who we are. Just like our kids as they're growing up.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Sorry, I say that as my son possibly had his mum do his washing for him again today. I'm learning.
Really?
I'm a work in progress.
Oh my goodness. Now stop that. Yeah, I mean, I've got a 19-year-old now. He turned 19 last week, and a 20-year-old and a 23-year-old. And I can say I'm not doing for him.
Yeah, it's funny how we catch ourselves.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you know, every part of me would love to, but that would hurt them. And the same with this relationship. If I'm not doing my job and I'm not teachable, then how do I advance to where I'm supposed to be?
Yeah. Because I don't want us sort of just going around and around and around in a cycle. That's not helpful. And I think that's why I am very proud of the fact that I'm not like a one-hit wonder. I don't have one specific technique or tool or tactic. My speciality or the thing, my secret sauce is that I'm very good at helping everybody understand all the parts of the jigsaw and bringing it together and start making the whole, and helping people do that in a way that's meaningful for them, because I don't have a 7-step system. It's not the same for every client. How I work with you is different to how I work with other people, which is different to how I work with other people. We get to where we need to go, but everybody's different. So yeah, I don't do the information overwhelm thing either, because that was my first experience when I first had my very first business coach. I had so much information. I just didn't know what to do with it.
Mind overload.
Yeah, and just what was next and and there's just emails every day and log into this thing and do this thing. And I'm like, what is the thing? Where did the thing go? How is
Right.
that a thing?
And too much detail. I was just
Oh,
thinking that as a therapist, I'm the same way that you are. I never go into a session knowing what I'm going to do.
mm,
It's all about what the client shows up needing. And then we just start shifting in whatever intervention I'm going to use. I don't know until it comes out of my mouth. And it's just so organic and in the moment that when I'm doing clinical supervision, it's almost hard to say, how would I deal with that, your client,
mm,
because I wasn't there in that room,
mm, mm.
because I would do
And I
something
think,
different.
and that's I think the other really great thing about this coaching industry that's out there now is I don't believe there's one person or one right way to build a private practice.
Mm-hmm.
Every person in their business is unique, and I can see Beck McMurray watching here. She's one of my favorite people here in Australia. Hello, Beck. And the
Mm-hmm.
way she's building her rehab counselling practice is completely different to mine. She's incorporating things that I've never even heard of, which is just, it's so cool. And
Mm-hmm.
watching the changes that she's making, and she's career coaching women in their 60s. It's like, that is so cool.
Yes.
So we've got so much choice, which, can sometimes be a bit frustrating, because like, how do you choose a coach? Well, do you need one? Probably. If you're asking the question, chances are you
Mm-hmm.
do.
Mm-hmm.
And who's going to help me get to where I want to go? And I
Mm-hmm.
don't, how you assess that, I think, is a really individualized thing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
always, when people come to me, they think they're assessing me. It's a two-way street. It's like, can I
Right.
help this person? Do I want to help this person?
Mm-hmm.
Is this person coachable? And until I've got some of
Mm-hmm.
those questions answered, I can't really move forward.
And again, it's the
Mm.
same thing. It's like the resistance that we as therapists get with our clients. Like if
Yeah.
you recognize, like, are they at the place that they really want healing, or are they just kind of thinking about wanting healing? Because you got to be
Oh,
ready.
yes. Yeah. And readiness can look like, I've got people who love to start and they're super, super ready. And then a month in, they're like freaking out. And fortunately, I've anticipated the freak out moment now. And
Yes.
I've seen it turn up in a variety of ways. And I no longer feel like I've done something wrong. That's how I internalized it. It's self-talk. We know about that.
I
Now
was
I can
just
kind of
remembering my
go.
freak out moment when I had 15 files I was working on. And I remember
Yep.
that look on my face. I'm like, oh my God.
I remember that call as
Uh-huh.
well. And your homework next week is to reduce 15 to 12. And of course, you overachieved and got it to 7 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm an
but,
overachiever.
that's the skill, I think, of a coach who knows overwhelm and can help people sift through it. Overwhelm should turn up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a part of our growth. We need
Mm-hmm.
to build our capacity, which means we need to be able to fit more in and make better
Mm-hmm.
decisions and become more discerning with how we spend our time. So it's not the avoidance of
Mm-hmm.
overwhelm, it's being able to go, oh, hello, overwhelm, you've arrived.
Mm.
Excellent. I wonder how Jo's going to help me deal with this.
I love that.
Mm,
It's so interesting. Like my practice has shifted in,
mm,
I'd say, the last month now.
yeah,
There's my staff is seeing more people than I am, and that was my goal.
that's
So
cool. That
that
is
is
so
cool.
cool.
I haven't had a chance
Yeah.
to tell you that, Joe. Guess what?
No, you haven't.
And that
Oh.
is like the shift I've wanted. And now that I have, the practicum students and then the new office and all of that stuff it's shifted. So we had our nonprofit business meeting today, and I'm going to get my first paycheck. Woo-hoo.
I wish I could
And
high five you.
and
That's
guess
amazing.
who's paying off the credit card that had some expenses on it? My nonprofit.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I just made the shift, and who
Mm.
knows where else we're going to go.
Oh yeah, I've got plans.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm sure you do.
And I think, for you, you've been doing the right things and a lot of things. Like you've been working on your nonprofit, you've been working on your book, you've been working on your presence, you've been working on your positioning. You just didn't know you were doing all of those things.
Yeah, I
And
didn't at all.
having someone come along and go, well, we need to target we'll pull all of those things together into a
Hmm.
strategy that actually makes sense. And we've only been working together for 10 weeks.
Really? Gosh,
10, it's
that's
not even
amazing.
3 months.
No, it
Uh-huh.
feels like forever, like in a good
Yeah.
way. Like,
Mm.
wow, 10
Yeah.
weeks.
And you're now getting speaking opportunities coming out the wazoo. And you've
Hmm.
got clients coming directly to you from your Facebook Live videos, which I never expected to happen. Thank you for proving me wrong.
No,
But you
I
can,
didn't either. And people that are like, yes, I'm ready to work because, like I saw your videos and I'm coming in just ready to work.
yeah, yeah.
It's
And because
crazy.
you turn up, everywhere you turn up, it's you. It's not
Mm.
LinkedIn you and Facebook you and Twitter you. It's just Carol. And that is the biggest mistake I see in private practices, is that people
Mhm.
feel like they need to turn up as something else. I need to turn up as my brand. I'm sorry, you are your brand. And your employees are a part of your brand, but they're also
Yes.
branded with themselves. So it's a whole
Hmm.
different conversation.
Hmm.
But people buy from people.
Hmm.
They
Real
just,
people,
yeah.
like
And
real people. Yeah.
you guys have this amazing thing going on here at the moment. I'm sorry, I am going to talk about your federal politics. Sorry about that. Because you've got really, really well adapted bullshit meters.
You can see fake a
If
mile off.
you can see it, you
Yeah.
anticipate it.
Yeah.
Right? So here in
Yeah.
Australia, we're cynics. We don't expect anything good. It's like, that sounds too good to be true. It is going to be too good to
Hmm.
be true. In
Hmm.
in Europe, they're like, well, how's it going to be good for the common good? How is it going to help everybody? If you're going to help me like that, how are you going to help everybody else? So it's just been really interesting watching a lot of people out of the US turn around now, and they're, really, you can help me do that? Are you
Hmm.
sure you can help me do that? I'm not convinced you can help me do that. And I'm
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
wow, okay, wow, you
Yeah.
guys, your national psyche is fairly wounded, and I'm probably going to cop a lot
Yeah.
of hate for saying that.
But the thing is that, I ask people, why are you watching my life? Like, really? I mean, don't you have something else to do than to watch my life? And everybody always says the same thing, but you're real. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, isn't everybody? Well, no. Actually, you've seen my last month of my life. It's been like, insane. And I decided to show the world what I was going through. Not
And,
every minute of it, but if this is human.
and I think people want to connect with this. Like, you think about your own buying behavior now, where when we have to buy something, or we go to friends for recommendations, we go to family members for recommendations, we read the recommendations pages, we look at all the rate and review sites, and as
Mm-hmm.
clinicians we don't have access to a lot of that, and that's okay. That's a
Mm-hmm.
discussion for another day that Katie Vanoy and I are going to
Mm-hmm.
fix, and Kurt, we're going to try and fix that.
Mm-hmm.
But by if we haven't got the social proof that comes from other people's testimonials, then the only way we can let people know who we are is by going to them and saying, this is who I am. So it doesn't mean we have to air our dirty laundry. It doesn't mean we, talk about stuff that is wrong, or we wouldn't be happy for people to know about 3 months down the track or 2 years down the track. But it does mean that we can turn up and go, you know what, I'm a marriage therapist, but I've been divorced twice. Now I'm the right person to help you understand making a better choice around your life partner. You know?
Right. Well, we're all human. We all have
Yeah.
stuff. I don't know a therapist that didn't get into the field because they either saw something or had something happen in their lives. So,
Mm.
we want to help others the way maybe we wanted other people to help us. So,
Yeah.
that compassion from going through life, we're all wounded healers. If, you know, if we're honest, I think we're
Oh,
all wounded
yes.
healers. And
And yeah.
that's how we help.
And it's really interesting. A lot of the clients that come to Purple Co now, they're not interested in knowing what we've done before. It's like, can you help people like me? So I think
Yeah.
every post-cancer survivor we get to work with, they're like, have you ever worked with somebody like me before? It's like, well, not you exactly, but somebody with your diagnosis who's been through the same sort of treatment. And that's the security we're looking for. It's not, will this work? It's, will this work for me? And I think we as clinicians, we forget that because we're so convinced that our EMDR or our, here we go, all the acronyms, our specific modality of treatment, we're so convinced that that is the thing that really helps people, that we forget that the people we're talking to have no clue and they just want to know, can you help me?
And that's my tagline, healing through connection. You know, that's really how I think the healing happens, is when we connect. It's almost like we don't have to do anything because the connection is the healing part. We always end up emotional,
going there. Yeah, we do end up going there. And I'm just like, oh, damn it, she's taken me there again. I don't have a resilient, not a resilience. I guess I'm open to the discussion, but it's like, oh man, if we're going to start talking about that stuff today, I'll shut this conversation down.
Well, you don't want to shut that down because that's authentic Jo. That's how we really connected, is that one day at the convention, and I will never forget that, and it makes me want to cry every time I think about it.
Yeah, it was powerful. And I think that's something that is missing in, like, we hear a lot about digital communications and the lack of interpersonal connection or connectivity. Like, we're really connected, but there's no intimacy. And I'm not suggesting intimacy in an inappropriate way, but there's so many people craving that sense of connection, to be seen, to be heard, to be listened to be understood. And I don't think it matters what modality, whether you're a coach or a counselor or a CBT person or an ACT person, that the first gift that we have is being able to connect with people. And that's what makes us unique. It's what makes us so powerful.
The acceptance. The acceptance without judgment. That's what I hear all the time. Like, you don't judge me. Well, no, I don't. Why would I judge you? I'd have to judge me. I don't want to judge me, so I'm not going to judge you.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. So, Carol, can I ask, what was it that made you think back, like, before John, I need a business coach? What sorts of things were going on for you that made you think, that's a skill set I need in my life?
I always knew it. I was started off with the podcast and watching everybody's, you know, free this and that. And eventually I worked up to what I felt, because I always want to be fiscally responsible. When I felt like I had gotten to the right place there, then I jumped in and said, teach me, I need to learn.
Wow. So you had a sense that you didn't know stuff?
Yeah. And some of it I didn't want to know, you know, because I don't like details. But the other thing is just that I know that there's a calling in my life, and it's more than I know how to get myself to. So I need to be teachable and help through the process. Yeah, I still have a long ways to go, because I know that there's, the sky is the limit.
Well, yes, for you it is, because you're not afraid of big vision at all. Yeah, don't be sending Carol details of anything. She is not your person if you need someone to tell you how to get from A to B and what time to be there. She just will tell you to be there.
Right, but I will have the vision, the big, huge picture. I got that.
Yeah. Yeah, and now we're putting the pieces together to make that vision become clear for other people. And that's the gift of our coaching relationship at the moment, is bringing that clarity, not just to you, but to the people who are going to help you get there, which is really cool. It's fun.
Yeah. I can't
It's
wait
really
till
fun.
some of this launches. I don't even know how any of this is going to happen, but it's really exciting to know it's coming, to know the new office is going to be, it's almost
Mm,
being done. Like one
mm,
minute ago, I thought it was going to be forever. And then said, no, you need to come down here right away and pick out the this and the that. And thank God I had my Miho with me, and he went down with me, and we picked everything out and we're done. It's
mm.
just, just right people at the right time.
Ah, I love that. And I think we've got to do the right thing at the right time, and we've got to have the right people at the right time. I meet
Mm-hmm.
so many clinicians who haven't learned how to fill their private practice, who are wanting to do all the multiple income streams. And I'm like, oh, can we just learn how to fill your practice first so that you don't come to me 2 weeks' time going, I've run out of money? And so we can then have the resources available to get your next income stream happening. It's like we're going to do the right thing at the right time, not all the things at the right time. If you've done all of the things at the same time, you need someone help you to put those pieces together, we can do that. But we don't, we can let go of the urgency, because if we build the foundations properly, then we can stay the distance. And I think that is more important, because we need the people doing the therapy. We need the people doing the therapy. It's just like, don't all become copywriters and have Facebook marketing agencies. We
Yeah.
need the people doing the therapy.
Yeah. And that's my goal, is to help therapists to learn to be authentic with their clients.
Mm.
But the really great thing is that I now only work with my specialties.
Yes.
So I look so forward to, the immigration stuff is so big for me. I just love every case.
Mm.
But, to work with the bariatric world, and I get to be on a mental health panel, in October, and just all the specialties that I work with, it is so nice. And then my virtual assistant hands everybody over to everybody else.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing less clients than some of my staff.
And how good do you feel knowing that you're working with the clients that you're best able to serve?
Well, I feel great, and I show up completely knowing what they need, and they feel hope.
Mm.
And that's what I'm supposed to give them, is that hopeful feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I
And
know what I'm doing.
I think that's the essence of self-care in this work, is do the work
Mm-hmm.
you love. And if you love everything, then that's awesome. But there'll be things you love more than others. And yeah, I know that I am not a good fit for adolescent males. I'm too maternal,
I'm
and
really good with them.
yeah, I'm not. But I've got
But
people on my team who are.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I love trauma, which is, weird, but I've heard so many traumatic stories from immigration. That's what I
Mm,
listen to all the time.
mm,
And to me, that is, every time they tell me, by the third session, they say, I feel better, because they
mm,
got it, spoke it out loud, this stuff that they keep in their head that culturally they often don't speak to anybody. And to me, it's like, it's a privilege to get to
mm.
sit in there with them. It doesn't burn me out at all. But
Mm.
somebody else, it might,
Yeah,
easily,
well,
easily.
I would be that person that would get burnt out, and that's how I know
Mm-hmm.
that I've always got somebody in my world, because I heard so many traumatic stories and know what to do with them.
Yeah.
So I did what a lot of people do, and that's avoid. That didn't work. So because the work, I know the work I do, my clinical work is complicated, but I also am resourced well enough now to be able to cope with it and to handle it.
Right.
And it worries me sometimes if our prospective clients or patients knew how stressed we were, how tired we were, how lack of presence we were turning up with, would they choose to come and see us?
I
So
wouldn't choose to come see somebody that's not present. Would make
no,
no
and
sense.
I wouldn't choose to come and see somebody who was distracted or falling asleep on me. And just because I've lowered my prices doesn't give me the right to do that. Like So I think this is where we need to take responsibility for ourselves, and where we can help our clients take responsibility as well. It's like, if you want to come to somebody who has expertise and can help you, then this is what it's going to take. You're going to turn up on time, you're going to have done the homework, and you're going to engage with me, because I'm going to turn up on time. I'm going to be well rested, and I'm going to be ready to help you. So,
yeah, and they come in and I go like this. Woo! Here we go.
Yeah.
They always say, they say, "Are you ready for me?" And I'm like, "Are you ready for me?"
You could probably get away with that.
Yeah, I can, because most of my clients know I'm a bit of a character.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, Jo, I want to say, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Thanks, Carol, for throwing me that line now. So now it's like mumble. Obviously not. I think we've got an amazing opportunity as health professionals to really add incredible value. Where the World Health Organization continues to tell us that health needs are not going away, and we need to start treating our health professionals, all of us, like when necessary, not just the thing that we do when there's a crisis. And I think if we don't lead the way as the health professionals, if we don't start demanding the respect and the value that we're wanting others to show us, then nothing's going to change. So ask next time you need to go and see somebody for about any sort of health issue, ask them how much sleep they've had. Especially if you turn up to a hospital emergency room. I'm really interested to know.
Oh, yeah. Because they work them like 2 or 3 days straight without sleep.
And then look at the rising rates of suicide amongst emergency or residents, hospital residents. The correlation between burnout and poor patient outcomes is actually documented. It's researched. I know this because I found it yesterday. But it's not just something you think in the pit of your stomach. It's real.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's like function without sleep, and I'm sure you're a really good doctor.
Whoops, that's the wrong leg.
Yeah, well, let's not go there. So how do they reach you?
Well, people reach me. It's really interesting. It would appear that my Facebook page, where I run my This is Private Practice videos pretty much every day, sometimes not, that seems to be where people are starting to get to know and like me. I have a website, which is jomuirhead.com, and people are having a look around there. And then I get messages, or I get, I need to connect with you, or I heard you on this podcast. And so email is good. Facebook Messenger is probably better.
That's how we connected.
Yeah. And now I'm going to have to handle the flood of requests that come in from Facebook Messenger, but that's okay. I can handle it. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jo, so much for
My
showing
pleasure.
up. And you know that I just think you're the best. And I just want to thank you for everything that you're teaching me. And I'm glad that I show up as teachable for you, because, we wouldn't be able to get the work done that we're doing. And the other thing that you give me is compassion. And, when I go through those hard times, to stop and just notice my feelings. And that is so important, to notice that, like, now is not the time to talk about work. Now is the time to download. And I appreciate that so much, especially recently.
Well, I want to say a big thank you for trusting me, because turning up every week, handing over money every month, doing the things that you kind of go, I don't even know what this is, but I'll do it because Jo asked me to. That level of trust, I am very appreciative of, and I don't take for granted.
Well, thank you so much. You guys, you should contact Jo, because she's awesome. But in balance. I don't know. Like, you two go, then two go, and don't take her away from me. Anyway, so we will be talking tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a list. I've got our to-do list ready to go.
Oh, okay. Well, I did my homework, so I'm good.
Yes, you are. That's right. We're going to get something finished tomorrow, and it's going to be really exciting. So,
Oh, great.
cool.
I'm excited. All right.
Yeah.
You have a good
Thank
day.
you for making
and
this happen. I will.
Oh, thank you for being on. All right. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.